Welcome to HD Coins World. In this video, we're uncovering one of the most mysterious and valuable nickels in American history, the 1943p Jefferson Nickel, a wartime coin with a fascinating twist and hidden value that could surprise even seasoned collectors. If you've ever come across a 1943 Jefferson Nickel with a large P mint mark on the reverse, pay attention. This coin is not only part of U.S. wartime history but, in rare conditions, can be worth tens of thousands, even over $100,000. Let's dig into what makes the 1943p nickel so special. In 1942, the U.S. Mint began producing nickels made from a special wartime alloy, 35% silver, 56% copper, and 9% manganese. Because nickel metal was needed for the war effort. These silver nickels were minted from late 1942 through 1945 and are easy to spot because the mint mark appears above Monticello on the reverse side, and it's larger than usual. The 1943p is one of the most notable coins from this series. The P indicates it was minted in Philadelphia, and for the first time ever, Philadelphia used a mint mark. That alone makes it historically significant. Now, let's talk about what to look for to know if your 1943p nickel is ultra-rare and highly valuable. Start by checking the surface of the coin. Is it clean? Is it free from scratches, nicks, or wear? The highest value coins are in mint state, specifically MS66 or higher. Use a magnifying glass and look closely at the high points on Jefferson's cheekbone, jawline, and hair. Next, examine the reverse. Focus on the steps of Monticello. The rarest and most valuable examples have full steps, meaning all 5 or 6 steps are visible and sharply struck. This indicates a strong, precise die strike with no flattening due to circulation. Now let's get into the errors. The 1943p nickel is known to have some fascinating varieties. First, double die obverse (DDO) errors. These are highly collectible and increase value significantly. Look at the date. In God we trust. And Liberty. If you notice any doubling, particularly on the 3, in the date or on the letters, you might have a very rare coin. Next, check for any die cracks or lamination errors, raised lines or irregular metal surfaces. While these don't always make the coin extremely valuable, the more dramatic and well-preserved the error, the better the price. Another key factor? Luster. Coins with original mint luster and strong eye appeal are the ones that bring serious money at auction. Now, let's talk numbers. Just how much can a 1943p Jefferson nickel be worth? In average condition, it might bring a few dollars. But in mint state with full steps or a rare error? That's where things get exciting. A certified MS68 full steps 1943p Jefferson nickel sold for $10,000, another remarkable specimen, with a double die error and flawless strike, went for $48,500, and the highest price ever recorded for this coin. A jaw-dropping $140,000 at public auction. That's the kind of value that makes you want to check every nickel twice. And for your knowledge, let's take a quick look at 3 of the highest-selling 5-cent coins in U.S. history. First, the legendary 1913 Liberty Head nickel, one of the rarest coins ever made. Only 5 known to exist. One of these sold for $4,560,000. Second, the 1942 D over horizontal D Jefferson Nickel, an extreme mint error that brought over $32,000. And third, the 1964 specimen strike Jefferson Nickel, an uncirculated proof-like version that fetched $35,000. So if you're holding a 1943p nickel, take a good look. You might be holding a piece of wartime history, and a small fortune. We want to hear from you. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a wartime nickel or if you think you have a valuable one in your collection. What's your favorite coin? Make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell for more in-depth looks into rare and valuable US coins. Thanks a lot for watching. This is HD Coins World. Number 2. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most mysterious and sought-after Jefferson nickels ever struck, the 1964 D Jefferson nickel with the D mint mark appearing on the reverse. This ultra-rare variety has stunned collectors and brought serious money at auctions. So if you've got some nickels lying around, now's the time to take a closer look. you just might be holding a 5-cent coin worth thousands. Let's start with the basics. In 1964, the Denver Mint struck over 1 billion Jefferson nickels. That's right, billion with a B. It was the highest mintage for a single nickel date at the time. But what makes this coin different is a rare, unexpected error involving the placement of the mint mark. Normally, Jefferson nickels from 1964 feature the D mint mark on the obverse, to the right of Thomas Jefferson's bust. But in a few rare cases, collectors have found examples where the D appears on the reverse side of the coin, just next to Monticello. That's completely out of place and points to either a transitional die usage or a repunched mint mark using an older die format. So how do you identify one of these valuable nickels? First, flip the coin to the reverse and carefully scan the area around Monticello. The mint mark should not be there. If you see a small D near the base of the building, you may have a rare variety or even a mint error. Next, check the overall condition of the coin. The higher the grade, the more it's worth. Look for sharp details on Jefferson's hair and Monticello's dome. Original mint luster, a clean surface, and no heavy scratches or dings are key. Then, focus on the steps of Monticello. A 1964 D with full steps, where 5 or 6 separate steps are clearly visible, is an extremely desirable find. Only a tiny percentage of coins from this date feature full steps due to weak strikes. Also keep your eye out for double die errors, especially on the lettering. Monticello, 5 cents, or the motto, E pluribus unum. Doubling on these words can significantly increase the value. And finally, don't forget to check for die cracks, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or any other signs of minting mistakes. These add rarity and collector appeal. Now, let's get into the numbers. And they are impressive. A lightly circulated example with the reverse D mint mark and mild strike weakness might bring in around $4,000. But that's just the beginning. A certified mint state coin with excellent eye appeal and light toning has sold at auction for $35,000. One pristine example featuring full steps and no visible contact marks stunned collectors when it hammered at $68,000. Yes, you heard that right. A 5-cent coin, worth $68,000. All because of a misplaced mint mark and a sharp, clean strike. Rare nickels like this are hiding in collections, coin jars, and even old rolls from the bank. All it takes is a little knowledge, a good eye, and a lot of curiosity. So, have you checked your 1964 Jefferson nickels recently? Do you think you might have spotted a reverse D mint mark? We'd love to hear your stories and see what treasures you've uncovered. Drop your thoughts in the comments section. We read every single one. Number 3. Today, we're taking a closer look at an often overlooked yet incredibly valuable piece of American coinage, the 1990p Jefferson nickel. At first glance, it may seem like just another modern nickel, but some of these coins hold ultra-rare traits that can skyrocket their value into the thousands. If you're a collector or even just someone who enjoys checking their change, this is one episode you do not want to miss. Let's talk about what makes the 1990p Jefferson nickel special. This coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, indicated by the P mint mark on the obverse, to the right of Thomas Jefferson's bust. In 1990, the U.S. Mint produced hundreds of millions of these nickels, so finding a common one is easy. But the ultra-rare examples? They're hiding in plain sight, and the value they carry is nothing short of astonishing. So, what should you be looking for? First, check for the mint mark placement. While it's usually placed correctly, there are examples of the 1990p nickel with a misplaced or repunched mint mark. These subtle variations can make a big difference in collector value. Second, study the strike quality, especially the reverse of the coin. You want to focus on the steps of Monticello. The most sought-after examples show what collectors call full steps, meaning 5 or 6 completely separated and clearly defined steps at the base of the building. Coins with full steps from 1990 are exceptionally rare, especially those struck in high grades with no signs of wear or damage. Third, look for double die errors. A strong doubling may be visible on the inscriptions such as, "In God We Trust, Liberty," or the date. On the reverse, check for doubling in Monticello and 5 cents. Any signs of doubling can dramatically increase the value of the coin. Fourth, examine for other errors like off-center strikes, die clashes, or struck through debris. These mint mistakes create unique characteristics that can be highly desirable to collectors. Condition is key. Coins graded in mint state 65 and above with full steps are where the real value comes in. A 1990p Jefferson nickel with near-perfect surfaces, brilliant luster, and full steps is a true rarity. Now, let's talk numbers. A standard 1990p nickel in average circulated condition might be worth face value. But once you add full steps and a high-grade certification into the mix, the price jumps significantly. A 1990p in mint state 66 with full steps can sell for around $5,200. A sharper, high-luster example in MS67 full steps has been auctioned for an impressive $12,800. And one of the finest known 1990p Jefferson nickels with full steps and flawless surfaces reached an extraordinary price of $38,000 at public auction. It's amazing to think that a simple 5-cent coin in your pocket or old coin jar could be worth that much. All it takes is knowledge, patience, and a careful eye to uncover these hidden gems. So, have you ever found a 1990p nickel with full steps? Or maybe you've spotted one with doubling or other strange features? Share your coin discoveries in the comments below. We'd love to hear what you've found. Number 4. In this video, we're diving into one of the most intriguing and ultra-rare Jefferson nickels ever minted, the 1975D Monticello nickel. At first glance, it may look like any ordinary 5-cent piece. But collectors know better. Hidden among these coins are rare errors and unique strike varieties that have shocked the numismatic world with auction prices. Let's get into what makes the 1975D Jefferson nickel so incredibly valuable. First, the basics. This coin was struck at the Denver Mint in 1975, and like most coins of the modern era, hundreds of millions were produced. But here's the secret: not all of them were made equally. A select few left the mint with exceptional details, rare errors, and sharp strikes that now make them worth far more than their face value. So, what should you be looking for? Start with the full steps variety. This is one of the most important features on a Jefferson nickel. On the reverse side of the coin, at the base of Monticello, look closely at the steps. If you can count 5 or 6 complete and clearly separated steps, you may have what collectors call a full steps nickel. This is a major key to value, especially for 1975D nickels, where full steps examples are very hard to find. Next, examine the coin for any doubling. Focus on the inscriptions like Monticello, 5 cents, and E pluribus unum. Doubling on these areas, also known as a double die, can increase the value significantly. Even a minor doubling on the date or mint mark can catch a collector's eye. Also, be on the lookout for die cracks, off-center strikes, or struck through debris errors. These types of mint mistakes create one-of-a-kind coins that can be extremely desirable to collectors, especially when paired with a high mint state grade. And don't forget about overall coin condition. The better the strike, luster, and preservation, the higher the value. Coins graded MS66 or higher are where serious value begins to climb. Now, let's talk money. A 1975D Jefferson nickel with minor wear might still only be worth its face value. But when you find one in high grade, mint state 65 or above, with full steps, things change quickly. A 1975D nickel with strong strike and full steps in mint state 65 has sold for around $5,300. An even higher quality example in mint state 67, with pristine fields and zero contact marks, has brought in over $22,000. And the crown jewel? A top-graded 1975D Jefferson nickel with flawless full steps and perfect eye appeal shocked auction houses when it sold for an incredible $48,000. That's right, $48,000 for a coin you might still find in a bankroll, change jar, or tucked away in an old collection. So, the next time you're checking your change, don't ignore those nickels. Look for full steps, strong luster, and any unusual features. You might just be holding one of the rarest Jefferson nickels ever made. Have you ever found a 1975D nickel with full steps or other rare traits? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear your story and see what treasures you've discovered. Number 5. Today, we're uncovering the surprising value hidden in a coin many of us overlook, the 1985 D Jefferson Nickel. Let's dive into what makes the 1985 D Jefferson Nickel not just valuable, but extraordinary. First, the basics. The D on this coin stands for the Denver Mint, which produced over 600 million of these nickels in 1985. That kind of mintage number might make it seem common, and most of them are. But the rarest and most valuable examples come down to just a few crucial details that make all the difference. So, what should you be looking for? Start by flipping the coin over and focusing on the steps of Monticello. You're looking for what collectors call full steps, 5 or 6 clearly defined, unbroken steps at the base of the Monticello building. This detail is hard to find because many coins were struck with worn dies, making the steps appear weak or incomplete. But when you do find a 1985 D nickel with full steps, its value jumps significantly. Next, take a close look at the coin's strike quality. A sharply struck 1985 D with excellent luster and no signs of circulation is far more desirable. Use a magnifying glass or coin loop to inspect the fine details of Jefferson's hair, coat, and the pillars of Monticello. Another important feature to check is the mintmark placement. Some rare examples show signs of a repunched mintmark, known as an RPM. This happens when the D mintmark was punched more than once in slightly different positions, and it's a high-demand error among collectors. Also, be on the lookout for die cracks, die clashes, and off-center strikes. These mint errors are less common, but when they occur on a 1985 D nickel, they can turn an ordinary coin into something truly special. Lastly, always consider the coin's grade. A 1985 D Jefferson nickel in average condition may not bring much, but in mint state 65 or higher, especially with full steps, the value can increase dramatically. Let's talk about real-world auction prices. A 1985 D Jefferson nickel in mint state 65 with full steps can sell for around $3,600, move up to mint state 66 with strong eye appeal, and that number jumps to $8,900. And at the top of the grading scale, a perfect or near-perfect 1985 D nickel with full steps and no visible flaws has reached astonishing prices. One specimen sold for $42,000 at public auction. That's a big leap from 5 cents to tens of thousands of dollars. All because of strike quality, detail, and rarity. Have you ever checked your change for a 1985 D Jefferson nickel? Or found one with full steps? Let us know in the comments. We love hearing from fellow collectors and treasure hunters. Number 6. Today, we're diving into the fascinating story of a coin you might have sitting quietly in your change jar, the 1979 Jefferson Nickel. Let's uncover what makes the 1979 Jefferson Nickel so special, and what exact features to look for if you want to spot one of these valuable rarities. First, a quick background. The Jefferson Nickel has been minted since 1938. Featuring the portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and Monticello, his historic home, on the reverse. The 1979 issue came from 3 U.S. mints, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. For this video, we're focusing on those struck for circulation, especially from Philadelphia and Denver. So what sets the ultra-rare 1979 Jefferson nickels apart? The first thing to check is the strike quality, specifically the detail on the steps of Monticello. Collectors look for what's called full steps, meaning all 5 or 6 steps at the base of Monticello are sharply defined, with no breaks. Most nickels are poorly struck, which makes full steps examples incredibly scarce and very valuable. Next, examine the overall condition of the coin. You're looking for coins that have not been circulated, no scratches, wear, or discoloration. Coins in mint state 65 or higher, especially with full steps, command the highest premiums. Now let's talk about die varieties and errors. The 1979 Jefferson Nickel is known for a few dramatic die clashes and double die obverse errors. Look closely at Jefferson's face, eye, and hair, and also examine the lettering, especially "In God We Trust" and "Liberty." If the letters appear doubled or there's extra thickness, you may have a doubled die. Another key area to inspect is the mintmark. While the Philadelphia Mint did not use a mintmark in 1979, the Denver version carries a D mintmark. Some rare examples show signs of a repunched mintmark, where the D was stamped twice in slightly different positions. These are highly collectible and can add significant value. Also be alert for off-center strikes, die breaks, or coins struck on the wrong planchet. These mint errors are rare but very desirable when they appear on a 1979 Jefferson Nickel. So what are these coins actually worth? A 1979 Jefferson Nickel with full steps and mint state 65 has sold for about $5,900. In higher grades, such as mint state 66 or 67 with strong luster and strike, the price can jump dramatically, up to $18,500, and in the rarest case, a nearly perfect 1979 Jefferson Nickel with full steps and flawless details sold for a breathtaking $52,000 at public auction. Incredible, isn't it? Just imagine finding one of those in your collection or pocket change. Have you ever come across a 1979 Jefferson Nickel with full steps? Or noticed any unusual doubling or errors? We'd love to hear about it. Drop a comment below and join the conversation with fellow collectors. Number 7. If you've got an eye for details and a passion for rare coins, you're going to love today's video. We're spotlighting the 1973 Jefferson Nickel, a seemingly ordinary 5-cent coin that, in rare cases, can be worth a small fortune. So grab your change jar and let's dive into what makes this coin ultra rare and highly valuable. Let's start with the basics. The Jefferson Nickel has been minted since 1938, with a familiar portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the front and his Monticello estate on the reverse. In 1973, these coins were struck at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. The Philadelphia coins have no mint mark, while the Denver coins carry a small D to the right of Monticello. Now here's where it gets interesting. What makes the 1973 nickel stand out to collectors? First and foremost, look for full steps on the reverse side of the coin. These are the lines at the base of the Monticello building. A true full steps coin shows 5 or 6 distinct, uninterrupted lines. Because of weak strikes and die wear, full steps are very hard to find on nickels from this era. That rarity can turn a common coin into a valuable one. Next, condition matters. Coins in high mint state grades, especially mint state 65 or higher, can command strong prices. Look for original mint luster, sharp details, and a clean surface with minimal marks or scratches. Then there are error varieties, and that's where things can get exciting. Some 1973 nickels have noticeable doubling in the words, "In God We Trust," or "Liberty." This is called a double die obverse, and collectors pay good money for it. There are also rare off-center strikes, die clashes, and repunched mint marks that raise value significantly. One more thing, coins with both a high grade and an error, like full steps combined with a double die, are considered jackpot finds. These are the kinds of coins that can explode in value at auction. Now, for the part you've been waiting for, real auction prices. A 1973 Jefferson Nickel with full steps and a grade of mint state 65 has sold for around $8,200. A finer example in mint state 67, with strong luster and eye appeal, brought in more than $23,000. And the highest recorded price for a 1973 Jefferson Nickel, in nearly flawless condition with full steps, reached an astonishing $61,000 at auction. Just imagine, one coin, worth 5 cents in your hand, possibly fetching $61,000 in a collector's market. If you've got any 1973 Jefferson nickels lying around, it might be time to take a closer look. Have you ever found a nickel with full steps or a strange-looking error? Let us know in the comments below. We want to hear your stories. And if you have questions or suggestions for future videos, don't hesitate to share them too. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to HD Coins World, and tap the notification bell so you never miss a discovery that could be hiding right in your pocket change. Thanks a lot for watching. This is HD Coins World.